Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor de Borbón Ortiz marries HRH Christian, live from Copenhagen. This was supposed to be an ordinary royal morning in Copenhagen. Calm, predictable, elegant. But then something happened that no one expected. A moment so powerful it interrupted every assumption. Because today is not just a ceremony. Today is the rewriting of two royal destinies. And yet the truth behind this day is nothing like what the world assumes. Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor de Borbón Ortiz marries His Royal Highness Christian in a moment that looks perfect from the outside. But hidden behind the crowns, behind the lights, behind the tradition, is a story the world has never truly heard. And today, we open that story. The city wakes slowly, unaware that history is already unfolding in its heart. Copenhagen's early light spills over rooftops, bridges, and quiet streets, painting everything with a softness that betrays the tension building underneath. Hours before the world tunes in, royal teams move quietly through corridors. Advisors whisper, security tightens, florists adjust final petals, and in two separate rooms, two young royals breathe in the weight of a future they are stepping into together. Leonor sits by the window, her dress glowing in the pale morning sun. There is no trembling, no hesitation, only thoughtfulness. She has always carried responsibility with grace, but today, it feels heavier, because today, that responsibility merges with love. The kind of love that challenges duty, reshapes expectations, and redefines legacy. Yet beneath her composure, one question circles like a silent tide. How much of this day belongs to her, and how much belongs to the crown? In another wing of the palace, Christian adjusts his uniform with a steadiness that comes from years of preparation. His expression reveals both strength and a surprisingly gentle quiet. He knows Denmark is watching him. He knows Europe is watching. But his eyes soften only at one thought, that the person waiting at the end of the aisle is not just a princess, not just an heir, but someone who has become the anchor of his life. Still, he wonders, can love thrive under the weight of two monarchies? Or will the pressure forge it into something deeper? Outside, the streets swell with anticipation. Flags of Denmark and Spain rise side by side. Crowds gather along barricades. Journalists set their cameras. Helicopters hover faintly above. The entire world is waiting for a fairy tale. But fairy tales hide the complications that real lives cannot escape. As the cars begin rolling into position, something unexpected ripples through the crowd. Emotion. Real, trembling emotion. Because this is not just any wedding. This is the merging of two futures watched by millions. The palace doors open. The royal families step out. And the first wave of curiosity hits. How will these two powerful dynasties blend? What does this marriage mean politically? And what private negotiations shape this moment behind closed doors? But those questions only multiply when Leonor emerges. She steps forward with a presence that steals the breath from the air. Her dress is a blend of Spanish tradition and Danish symbolism, sewn with meaning that only few understand. Her walk is steady, her eyes soft. Her expression carries both destiny and vulnerability. Cameras capture every angle, but none capture what she is truly feeling. The world sees a princess walking toward marriage. But inside, Leonor feels the past walking with her. Her childhood in the palace. Her training, her years of preparation, the expectations placed on her before she could speak. And now, she is willingly stepping into a future that binds her personal heart to public duty forever. When the doors of the cathedral open, a wave of awe washes over the audience. Light spills onto marble floors. Thousands rise as one. The energy shifts like the beginning of a story everyone already knows and yet cannot predict. Christian waits at the altar. Not tense. Not rigid, but deeply moved. His breath catches when he sees her. He expected beauty. He did not expect the force of emotion that strikes him now. And for a moment, just a moment, the weight of royalty fades. All he sees is her. But then comes the second curiosity loop. The expressions of their families. Queen Letizia watches with a gaze filled with pride, love, and something unspoken. A hint of worry. A mother's quiet fear knowing her daughter is stepping into a life far more demanding than any title can reveal. King Felipe stands tall, controlled, yet unmistakably emotional. He has lived this life. He knows the sacrifices. He knows what Leonor is stepping into better than anyone. And the thought flashes through him, Have I prepared her enough? Will she find happiness under the weight of a crown? On the Danish side, Queen Mary's warmth is unmistakable. Her eyes reflect recognition. She, too, once stepped into a life she did not fully understand until much later. Her glances toward Leonor reveal empathy, an unspoken bond only royal spouses can share. And then there is Crown Prince Frederick, observing with dignity but also with a father's watchfulness. He knows the pressures Christian carries. He has felt them all his life. The ceremony begins. The priest's voice fills the hall, weaving tradition with solemnity. The words echo through stone and memory. And as the couple stands before the world, the third curiosity loop opens. Are their vows simply royal obligations, or something deeper? Leonor speaks first. Her voice is steady but filled with emotion. Every word is chosen with care. Her vows reveal strength, love, and a determination that seems to silence even the cameras. Not because of volume, but because of sincerity. Then Christian speaks. His voice cracks on the second line. Not from nerves, but from meaning. The room feels it. The audience at home feels it. This is not two monarchies merging out of convenience. This is two hearts choosing each other despite the world watching. And as their vows intertwine, a new question forms: how will they protect this fragile sincerity in the face of global scrutiny? The rings are exchanged. Soft, slow, symbolic. A moment that feels timeless, yet deeply personal. Cameras zoom in, trying to capture the meaning behind the gesture. But the meaning is not in the gold. It is in the silence that follows, a silence so full of emotion that even the air seems to hold its breath. When the priest declares them husband and wife, Copenhagen erupts. Bells ring, crowds cheer, flags wave. The world witnesses joy. But inside the cathedral, the families do not just see joy. They see transition. Because with this kiss, everything changes. As the couple walks down the aisle together, hands intertwined, the next curiosity loop opens. What happens now? What responsibilities await them? What negotiations, expectations, and duties will define their shared life? Outside, the carriage awaits. The horses shift, sensing the energy. The crowd roars as Leonor and Christian step inside. She looks at him, he looks at her. And in that moment, away from microphones and royal eyes, they whisper their first private words as husband and wife. Words no one will ever hear. Words that belong only to them. The procession begins through the streets of Copenhagen. People cry. Children run alongside. Elderly couples smile with nostalgia. And as the carriage moves, Leonor feels the enormity of something she never anticipated. Not pressure, but connection. These people, from different nations, believe in her. Trust her. Look to her future. Christian senses it too. He straightens slightly, holding her hand tighter. Not out of duty, out of devotion. Because he knows their lives are no longer two separate paths, they are threads woven into a tapestry that will stretch across borders. The reception at the palace opens the next chapter. Lavish tables, historic halls, royal music. But beneath the elegance lies a world of private dynamics. Advisors discreetly observe interactions. Diplomats calculate implications. Family members reflect on what the future means for both monarchies. In a quiet corner, Leonor and Queen Letizia share a moment. A mother's final reassurance. A daughter's final breath of childhood. Letizia cups her daughter's cheek with the pride of a mother who has watched strength grow slowly, quietly, beautifully. Nearby, King Felipe places a hand on Christian's shoulder. A symbolic gesture. A subtle message. A merging of responsibility. And Christian, with respectful certainty, accepts it. At the same time, Christian's parents speak with Leonor. Their words are warm, welcoming, and gently protective. Because marrying into royalty is more than ceremony, it is stepping into a living institution with its own unspoken rules. The night deepens, and the dance begins. The newlyweds move across the floor with a grace that feels almost unreal. Not perfectly choreographed, not flawlessly executed, human, real, connected, and the crowd watches with a mixture of admiration and tenderness. But the deeper loop emerges here. How will they balance royal duty with their personal happiness? How will they guard their relationship from the pressures of tradition, scrutiny, and expectation? Hours pass. Laughter fills the hall. Soft piano notes echo. Families mingle. Nations blend. And yet beneath it all lies the question that only time can answer. When the couple steps onto the balcony, Copenhagen erupts again. Lights flash, crowds shout, flags rise, and in that brilliant, overwhelming moment, Leonor realizes something life-changing. She is no longer just a princess. She is a partner, a future queen, a symbol of unity between countries, and the guardian of a future she will build with the person standing beside her. The night ends slowly, the palace quiets, the crowds fade, but the story does not end. It only begins, because from this moment forward, their lives shift into a narrative the world will follow, every decision, every journey, every challenge, every triumph. This is the marriage of Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor de Borbón Ortiz and His Royal Highness Christian. A union of love, a merging of dynasties, a turning point in modern royal history, and a story whose next chapters will unfold with every sunrise. A story of strength, a story of destiny, a story of two hearts learning to navigate a life lived under the weight of crowns and the light of hope. A story that begins tonight in Copenhagen, and will echo far beyond.